Wow, I am so excited to bring Beth Watter to the stage, so to speak. Look at that bright smile. And she's got a great story to tell. She's a wonderful son, and he's been the inspiration for several really, really great books that she's written. And we're going to talk about both of those books. The current book, The Making of Champions, and then the other book is Champions We Are. So Champions We Are. And the story of her son and what he's accomplished and how he has, I hate to use the word disability because I think he probably could outfish me. He could probably outdo so many things. I mean, seriously, he's just incredible, and we're going to tell you all about him. So thank you so much, Beth, for coming on.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Let's talk about your son, Nick, and let's talk about the rest of the family and what happened with Nick.
Okay, for one thing, we don't call it disability. We call it a challenge.
There you go.
Because Nick overcomes whatever he faces. So when Nick was born, we thought he was perfectly healthy, beautiful baby boy. And when he was 5 months old, he got pneumonia, and they took x-rays and found out that things were wrong. His heart was real enlarged. Everything was wrong. So they went in and repaired his heart. And when they repaired his heart's doing really good. But his lungs collapsed, they got brain damage. And so this is the time where all the family, my church, everybody just kind of came together as a huge support group so that we could bring this baby home, that the doctors had said we should put him into an institution because, he had brain damage now. It would wreck our family. His brothers would be embarrassed by him. All kinds of reasons why we should not bring our baby home. And I said, well, do we need a machine to keep him alive? And they said, well, no. I said, then my baby's coming back home with me because there's no reason he shouldn't. We just had to work hard. And so after about a year of just crying, he just cried all the time for a year after his heart surgery. And then he started reaching for a toy by himself. And so once he started reaching for a toy, we started therapy, really intense therapy. So every summer for a month, he and I would go live at the hospital in Madison, and we would work on some really strong therapy. We'd come home and work on that all year, go back the next year, get another set of therapy. And we did this every year for years. And we had, there was a book I read, and it was about patterning. Now, I don't know if you heard of it, but you take somebody who's been injured, and you repeat the same motion over and over and over so their muscles learn to do that again. And so I asked for volunteers. I went to our churches and everywhere, and I said, I need volunteers to help me. And so we had farmers, we had firemen, we had teachers, we had people from all over our area all came in, and every day, all day long, we worked on patterning over and over and over. Now, I never learned to crawl. He never learned to walk, but he is super healthy. So first he said he wouldn't live to be a year old. Then they said, well, he's not going to live past high school. And now he's 44 and he's healthier than he's ever been.
I love his story, and his story, of course, is the inspiration for your book. So let's talk about the first book, The Making of Champions, because as you said, I mean, you just described to us how you dealt with the challenges, like you say, and how he really rose to that occasion and defied whatever odds somebody tried to put on him. So that really is the basis, I think, at least part of it, of the book. So tell us about the newest one.
Okay, the newest one would be The Making of Champions. And what's cool about it is one of the camps, he goes to some different camps, but this one camp he goes to about every 4 or 5 years. He doesn't go every year to this camp, but we go to Minnesota. It's a Christian summer camp. But 1 week every year is a wheelchair sports camp. And so Bob Bartwell was this wonderful champion racer. He'd go all over the world and race his wheelchair, and he was a real champion. Well, the reason he was in a wheelchair was when he was out of college. He was working on his dad's construction company. He was working on a truck, and the truck fell on him and broke his back. And so he was in bed paralyzed at the hospital. He's laying thinking, what in the world am I going to do with my life? I can't do anything now. I'm just laying here. And his dad dropped a piece of paper on his chest and said, do something with it. And it was a deed of land. And so he kept thinking, what am I going to do? I can't do anything. And then he remembered he had worked at summer camps when he was in college. He'd gone out to Colorado and worked at summer camps. He thought, I can start a summer camp. And so he started a Christian summer camp. Strong, strong faith. The man he brought so many people to God, I believe. And he changed lives every day. Just the inspiration he was. Plus he'd tell those kids, don't give up, keep going, you can do it. And so we would go there, and every time we'd go to camp, we'd come home and Nick would be stronger and more independent because he wanted to do everything they were doing. And the people who'd come and be the instructor, they were the champion racers from all over the world. They were skiers, they were surfers, they were all kinds of sports, and they'd all been injured. So some were, they had legs, but they couldn't walk. So they were like paraplegics. So some were paralyzed, some had no legs. It's like they all had huge disabilities that you would think, oh my God, how's he going to do this? One guy has no legs. He runs around on the little boards with wheels on them. I can't think what it's called.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he goes all over the place on this little board. And when we got there, we're going, he's one of our teachers. And so Bart created this wonderful camp, brought in his friends, because they said, if you would make 1 week just for, wheelchairs, let's come over and have some fun. And they would all come and they'd have races, and it's a huge thing. So these boys would go there and they come home knowing, I can do that. I can do something new. I can create this. And they get so much more ambitious that they want to go out and just do everything.
Right, so that's the idea, the making of champions. It's the mindset that any of us could adapt to, that so many of us don't, that are, quotes, able-bodied. So incredible that that experience, and then really pushing it out there so people realize that there's things that you can certainly overcome, whatever the obstacle is. In the book, and in writing the book, what was the biggest challenge for you?
Let's see. My books really have not been a huge challenge, because it's like I bring my memories back from all the things we've gone out and done. And so it's like I'm writing down my memories, and then I add stuff to make it more exciting. So I don't want to sound like Nick did this, Nick did this, Nick did this. It's like he went and met friends, and he and friends did all these different things. And so everyone is a learning thing. And as he learns, I also learn, because he's doing things I never thought he could do. And so to me, it's an eye-opening for any parent even to go to these camps and see how amazing it can be that, we can't look at our limitations. We have to look at each day, set a new goal. Have a dream and set a goal and keep going forward. You may not achieve your dream right away. It might take years to get where you want to go. But if you give up, you won't get anywhere. And so Nick he says, I want to try this. I said, okay, let's go try it. So some things he's done scare me half to death, but mostly he just goes out and has a blast with his friends learning new things. And
that's the key too. You talk about it in the book, you talk about a friend, Josh, you talk about things that he did. So he wasn't limited by that. Friends they just roll with it.
He's got friends in every area of his life that are, when we were in Boy Scouting, and we would go, his troop mostly were boys with disabilities, because we thought when he first joined at 11, that's what he needed. And what we discovered is he didn't need a group that were all disabled. He just needed a group that wanted to do things. And so even though he belonged to a troop, the kids all had different disabilities. He actually was invited to go camping with all these other troops because he was fun. And they would bend over backwards, seeing who could help him learn to do something new and stuff. And it's like, okay, Nick, you can help set this tent up. What am I going to do? Well, you're going to hold the rope. You're going to do this. And they would tell him what to do, and he would do things that his troop usually didn't do because they were too challenged. And so I think it's a comfort to be with people who are similar sometimes, but you grow when you're with people who are different too.
Ah, so well said. So when kids or even anybody can read the book, The Making of Champions, what do you hope they take away when they read it? But I'm going to say kids, when they read this book, what do you hope they take away?
That we all need dreams, that we need to accept each other and don't ever turn away from someone because they're different. Because there might be one thing different about someone, but there's probably 99 things that are just like you. And so if you turn away from people who are always different, you might have lost the best friend that would have been the best person you ever knew. And you won't know unless you get to know them. And you might meet people that you think you'd be great friends with, and they turn out to be, well, they're not as ambitious or don't want to go out and do as, there's different kinds of friends.
Right.
And so it's like, make friends, make lots of different kinds of friends, and be open-minded, and go out there, set a goal, and keep working towards it. Don't give up because it's hard.
Oh, I love that message. And then the other book, Champions We Are. Let's talk about that one.
That was my first book. And that one, when Nick was a little boy, he wanted a bicycle so bad. His friends all had bicycles. So he had seen a picture of this red racing bike. It's 3 wheels, it was hand pedal, and you'd sit with your legs out straight in front of you, like in a brace. Your legs would fit out there. Anyway, you'd get on there and you'd pedal. And it was great, except we discovered that the one he wanted that was his daydream turned out not to be the best bike for him. But he ended up getting the bike from Make-A-Wish Foundation because we had just bought a new wheelchair. We couldn't buy a new bike. And so Make-A-Wish Foundation got him his racing bike and a helmet, and he thought he was so cool. Trouble with that bike was that you had to put your hands on the pedals to pedal, but if you took your hand off to put your brake on, which was down beside your seat, he'd crash every time because he couldn't control it with one hand. Plus, his left hand is his weak side. From his brain damage, the left side is all weaker. And so he'd try to hold on to the bike with the left hand, and it would get out of control, and he would crash. And so he went to summer camp where the wheelchairs were, and there was a girl there named Dana, beautiful lady, and she had a really cool blue bike that hers sat differently, and to stop that bike, all you had to do is pull back on the pedals. And so that was a much safer bike for Nick. And she wanted a red racing bike because she was really into racing. And so we thought about it, and then finally we called each other and we met halfway. It was about 3 hours. We met her and traded bicycles. Now Nick's bike was worth a lot more money, but her bike fit him. So it was a great trade. And he still has his bike so he can ride it. So it's cool.
I love it. And he loves riding the bike, right?
Oh, he does. He puts his helmet on, he puts his gloves on, he's out there. And he, it's like, okay, Nick, you can't ride faster than I can run because I don't want you going off into the ditch or something. I try to be careful when I'm letting him do all these things, but I also have to be reasonable and say, okay, he could get very hurt. And so I want him going out and doing things, but I want him to also think of caution to some degree because he has no fears. And so you have to have a little bit of fear, I think, to stay safe. I mean, he's done things like he helped fly an ultralight. He goes water skiing. He does things that I just don't do.
Wow. I'm just envisioning that. Incredible. I want to tell everybody, too, you have a website, elizabethwatter.com. Again, elizabethwatter.com. You can go there. And with these books, and I guess specifically what's different, and obviously you told us this about the bicycle, etc. Champions We Are. What's the message you hope the takeaway is there for kids?
I really wrote it because of all the things Nick has done. And I've written a lot of books, but that book, when I got that one written, I finally decided I was going to get one published because I thought families need this. They need to, we all take care of our kids.
Right.
But there's so much more to life than taking care of your kids. You've got to help them grow up. You've got to give them things that make their life exciting and happy. And so at the same time, you want to take good care of them, get them out there and live whole lives. So it's to encourage families to get out there and do things, encourage kids to accept each other who are different and to become friends. And when you see someone's having a problem doing something, help them do it. It's easy to stand back and laugh at someone because they can't quite do something. But if you just walk over and help them, it's good for you and good for the other person. So it doesn't hurt to help people, and it doesn't hurt to ask for help. And so if you're doing something and it's hard, you might say, could I have a helping hand here? It's hard to be humble. It's hard to sometimes ask for help, especially if it's a guy out there and his friends are out there. To ask for help makes him feel kind of small. But in all reality, if you help each other, you both become better.
So well said. I love it. And you can get these books too on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, because I know people reach in different directions. But your stories are absolutely wonderful. I want to know what's next.
Oh, this is a secret. I've got two that I've almost got finished. Each book leads into the next book. So when you read the book and you see all the things the boys are doing, you have to wonder, okay, which of those are going to be the next book? And so there's two of them underway, and they are, they just lead into each other. There's always something that's challenging, something that he will overcome, and he and his friends will have a blast.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely love it. He's so inspirational. You are too. Beth, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.